Featuring Vi.sion Studio, Art with an Edge. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a more mature woman's makeover. We have a lot of questions about this in the studio, so we wanted to do a very specific, basic breakdown of how to accomplish a perfect, more mature woman's makeup application. Alright, okay, first and foremost, we have moisturize the skin because that's very important to prime your canvas. Make sure you have a good amount of application of moisturizer to the skin, okay? Second, we're going to be putting on a primer to the skin. And what a basic primer does is it not only moisturizes the skin, but it blankets out any type of porous movement. So then whenever you go to saturate the skin with foundation or concealer work, no matter how light or full coverage that you need, it's going to make all the foundation sit seamless onto the skin. What a primer also does is it helps to prevent the skin from any type of sweating or getting any kind of moistness anywhere that's going to ball up on the skin. And we're going to place that underneath the eyes, down the base of the nose, forehead, and of course across the mouth. One thing that's really difficult to work with in more mature skin is all the feathering and the pockets that we get in the lips. So the more coverage that we can have to build into the crease area, the smoother a lip liner or a lipstick will go over the lips. Alright, now I'm just mixing up some colors in foundation. First things first on foundation is I think it's really important to do a liquid foundation that dries to a powder finish and that you also use a brush. Keep your hands out of the process because that way the more that you put your hands into the foundation process when working with liquids, the more it pulls off onto your fingers, and you also pull any oils onto the face that you wouldn't normally do with a brush. And on more mature skin, you want to make sure that you keep everything in an upward swing motion, and that you also keep the skin a little on the warmer side. That's one thing that a more mature skin loses, is not only elasticity but strength and color. And so instead of really paling them out, you want to make sure that you keep them really warm. And you can see how I'm starting right underneath the eyes. And it's really a pressing and patting motion. Around the nose area, around the nostril areas, down the sides of the nose, and up the bridge of the nose, and fan out. Typically more of your work in any application, the most concentration you're going to have is right here in the T-zone. So that way, whenever you fan out to the hairline and to the sides and to down the neck to the décolleté area, will be your lighter foundation application. Going over the lips. Because in any great makeup application, you need to think about foundation as blanketing the skin out, and then whenever we start adding concealer and bronzer, we're starting to put back in the angles that we lose. So think about drawing everything out, making a blanket, and then starting to pull geometric shapes back into the face. Open up real quick. See, I'm trying to get that foundation close to the eye, but not pressing it into that waterline, because sometimes people will have a reaction to any type of a liquid foundation in the eye, and the last thing you want to have is liquid foundation has touched the ball of the eye in any way, and it starts to make them just have a waterfall underneath the eyes. Make sure you fan the foundation down the neck onto the décolleté area. This way all this is blending into each other. A lot of people forget that. So they have a warmed up face right here, the neck is one color, and the décolleté is another color as well. And going over the eye area, because that foundation and any concealer work around the eyes are going to sit as a primer for any type of eyeshadow that's going to be placed on top of it. It will help top of the ears if you have discoloration. And like I said, the really nice thing about liquid foundation is that it dries to a light powder finish. And a lot of people have a really bad tendency of over powdering, and what you don't want to have in more mature skin is over powdering, because what happens is we've lost the elasticity in our skin, so we have more crepiness, and then the powder sits inside that crepiness and almost advertises it. So the last thing you want to do is over. All right, now going into concealer. Concealer work is probably the best time that I ever have doing a makeup application. I know a lot of people really can't believe that. But concealer is probably the most misused and misunderstood product in makeup application. Most people think it's really designed just for concealing the blue violet underneath the eye. Most women really don't have a lot of blue violet underneath the eye, although they think they do because they've heard that somewhere or read it in a magazine. The unique thing about concealer is it really is a facelift in a stick or in a pod or in a cream, however you purchase yours. It really is about brightening up the face and opening up facial planes. Another uniqueness about it is, again, it has a duality to it. I always tell our clients, make sure you get duality out of all the products that you buy. So on concealer, not only is it there to negate all the blue violet underneath the eye, it's also there to highlight the skin as well. I always teach people that in highlighting and in contouring, which is two basic major steps in a makeup application, highlighting should be about a shade to two lighter than your regular skin tone, to where contouring should be a shade or two darker than your skin tone. Most people take it to the extreme and do a really white eyeliner underneath the eye, and then they get that picture taken and they're not sure why they have that raccoon eye look. It's because the concealer is too light and it's not well blended and it's not put all over the face correctly. So that's what we're going to demonstrate now. And I have a stick concealer, and again, always being very clean, very important with your products, scraping it off onto a spatula and using a brush. Now on concealer, I'm going to draw it first where it really needs to be. It needs to be, of course, up underneath the eye, down the bridge of the nose, onto this pillow pocket of the cheek right here, on the inner corner of the eye, over the lid, and then not only taken from underneath the eye, but taken out here into the what we call the C-section in makeup. Because see, again, what this does is it negates the blue violet underneath the eye, but we have to blend it onto the cheek area. A lot of people are like, think that's going to be enough, and it's not. It has to be blended or it's going to stick out. So blend, also highlight the sides of the face, side of the nose, and blend down onto the cheek area. And like I said, I always put a little foundation concealer over the eye area to serve as a primer for shadow. So really when you're thinking about concealer, this entire section needs to be concealed through here. This entire eye socket. And then of course, one thing we always talk about in our academy and in our studio lessons, blend, blend, blend. When you think you've blended enough, go back and blend for 10 more minutes. You just can never have enough blending. Go black.